Hello everyone. Today we are going to take a peek at some formative assessments that could be used in the classroom. Some of these are tools that I currently use and some are ones that I have yet to use, have recently discovered, and are excited to try with my students. So let's dive in. We are going to take a look first at Nearpod. Okay, so in Nearpod, this is something that we use on a fairly regular basis with our classroom. It is one that integrates very well into various learning management systems. Our particular system with our county is Canvas, and this integrates very nicely into Canvas so that I can assign it to students with their single sign-on, which helps me in my grading and able to see, which students have completed the assignments or not. I'm currently logged in through our district library. And so what you're seeing here is a snapshot here of my particular lessons and folders that I have. Now, you can go in and find things through your district and school libraries. And you can search, you can turn on different filters, search different subject matters, different sources on where these have come from, grade level, etc. If your school in particular has several teachers that are using this, they may be sharing or posting theirs for other teachers to find more easily. You can find that through your school as well. You can also look in the Nearpod library. And the Nearpod library is pretty vast. It's got videos, activities, lessons. You can search by publisher. They work with many different services. So you get things from education.com, you can get things that Nearpod creates. There's just a lot of different things. And again, you have your filters here for videos, lessons, activities. You can search by standard, subject matter, grade. It really is pretty wonderfully organized in order for you to help find the content. And there's a vast amount of content to search there and find. Now, going back into our folders, we're going to take a peek at some of the things that we've got here and some of their capabilities. So not everything obviously is organized into a folder, but it could be. You've got gamifying activities like our time to climb. The students really seem to love that one. You can upload your own PowerPoints. You can search and find the ones from Nearpod and other sources. I'm going to take a dive here into my personal library, a few that I have uploaded. And in here alone, we've got a couple that are created by Nearpod. We've got a lesson here created by Nearpod. We have a matching game for review purposes with our food chains and webs. We've got another activity here from education.com. And then we've got some that are PowerPoints that I have uploaded in here. So taking a look at this, I'm going to sit down here and hit the preview of this particular one. So this is a little bit with our scientific method and preparing them for that. Now, the wonderful thing about this is you can upload these codes, share the codes to the students in various ways, allowing them to access it in multiple platforms. They can do student-based, and you would just share this code with them through email, copying a link, embedding it into maybe your LMS. If you use Google Classroom, it integrates well with that. You can send it Remind or even Microsoft Teams if you happen to be doing a digital lesson. You've got options down here to turn on and off on requiring student to respond and to prevent skipping. This is accessible for about a month, and you can actually do multiple codes. So for example, I have 3 different blocks that I teach, and so this could be my code for block 1, and then I can exit out mid-lesson if needed, and then come up with a totally different code for block 2, block 3, etc. That way I can have them separated and organized by the students in those blocks. You can do a live participation code. See here, I created one to kind of show this. I can relaunch wherever this left off for my live participation, or I can launch a new one. So this would be what I'm talking about here by separating it out into my blocks. And then you go through, you can preview ones before you upload them, but you have various activities that you can embed. You have questions, open-ended, multiple choice, You have drawing options. You have polls and quizzes. Let's go in here to resume where we're at on this one. It has a wonderful option too if you are in a co-taught setting that you can include a co-teacher link, or maybe if you're in a team taught setting where multiple teachers are teaching the same subject matter and you would like to be able to share that access with them as well. You see here your students logging on. You can also turn that student pacing different. You can have them, say for example, if you want to allow them to work at their own pace through the first maybe 5 slides before the first activity hits and they need to kind of pause and wait for everyone to catch up, you could do something like that. You could skip through to the specific lessons and kind of go back and forth through your PowerPoint or through the lesson in that way. Going here, we have the slideshows. There's fill in the blank. You can share it on the screen to the students and go from there. So there's a lot of different options with our Nearpod here. Definitely a classroom favorite. If you were to share that fill in the blank or one of the other questions, this is where you would see your students' names and their results and their scores. You can view their answers one by one. You can then share answers on the board if there's a particular answer that you like the way it was worded, etc. Kind of giving out that shout out and that praise to your students mid-lesson as you go in real time. And then another way to see how your students are doing is you can go to the reports. Now the reports section is pretty great in terms of laying it out there by percentages of class percentages and then also breaking it down into individual students. So let's say, for example, these are ones that I have assigned in the past. And let's say, for example, we want to take a look at maybe the punctuation. So I assigned this to 2 different groups of students. I had one whole class that needed some remediating on it and one class that just a small group needed some remediation on it. So if I click on that, I can see a breakdown of the answers, of percentage of correct answers, wrong answers, ones that gave no answer. You can click on just the quiz, just the open-ended question, the draw it, etc. And then it also, when you scroll down, breaks it down by each student and their answers. You can download this and save it. You could share the results if you needed to, maybe with a teammate on your team to kind of see if everyone's on the same page, remediating and working with students in terms of co-teaching. So just another great feature in Nearpod. Overall, Nearpod is definitely a go-to. Like I said, it integrates with our Canvas system very nicely. So the students seem to enjoy it. It's a good snapshot for us, and there are many different options and lessons that can be found in Nearpod through various creators, along with creating your own content. When you're creating, another great feature is you can add in voiceovers and voice direction. So that helps students that maybe need to hear the directions read out with them to make sure that they're catching everything. Maybe your English language learners, some of your students that are on the lower end of the reading levels, to help make sure they're understanding all of the directions clearly. You can add closed captioning onto things. You can really reach a variety of student needs in that way as well. Okay, now we're going to take a quick look at EdPuzzle. This is one that I'm not very familiar with, but that a peer of mine had recommended. And then when we were doing our assignment, I also saw it in the list of my readings and started to dig a little bit deeper into EdPuzzle. And I'm actually looking forward to using it in the classroom very much. So in playing around with EdPuzzle, I have created an account. I've gone in and you can see there's a few teachers, at my school that use this. And then I've gone in and created my folders for my different topic matters. And just doing a quick search, I was able to find a couple of videos that would tie into some of the science lessons that we have done or are currently doing. I've gone in and just copied the ones that I found already created, but the great thing about EdPuzzle is that you can go in and you can tweak the questions, you can change things up a little bit, you can take some questions out and really make it your own as you need to. And this really makes it where students are not just watching a video on YouTube, they're really interacting with that video. And this is maybe the first question here. You can skip through as you preview. There's multiple choice questions. So as the students watch the video, it will pause and ask them a question, gives them a chance to rewatch if they need to, and then they would answer their question. I'm going to click skip here. And then once they answer the question, it would continue on with the lesson until they get to the next question, and so on and so forth. And then this gives you a snapshot of their understanding of the content that they're watching. And again, you can go in folders and add it in, videos, projects. You can search and filter through grade level, through topic matter. There are a lot of different things you can search through, YouTube specific, things that are your school specific, maybe other teachers have uploaded and created and have shared. You can also look with the community and search via these filters. So this is one that I am really looking forward to using more in the classroom with my students. And as I was digging deeper into this resource, I found that it too is integratable into our Canvas system, which will be a nice feature to have and to assign to students individually or as a class. One last thing I want to take a quick look at is Poll Everywhere. Now this is one in my reading that I was familiar with and had heard about, but more so on a personal usage level. I had never really thought about using it in the classroom. As I mentioned previously, Nearpod and some of the other activities that we do use have polls and things embedded into the system and into the lessons, but I had never really thought about using a specific website for polling as a formative assessment in the middle of class. Now we do it ourselves with a thumbs up, thumbs down, showing a number of where they're at in the classroom, but I really do like the idea of adding in this, web version of polling the students. So this is one that I'm kind of looking forward to using and utilizing in the classroom, especially as while I'm not one-to-one in my classroom, we are working towards that goal in 4th and 5th grade specifically to be one-to-one. So hopefully I will have more technology available in my classroom to be able to do polling in this manner with each individual student being one-to-one. But for now, I could also use it in my small group settings when I'm remediating, when I am introducing new centers and topics, and use it in that way. Now, looking at some other options on the questions, we have the multiple choice word cloud, which just gives them a great dynamic word cloud with the open-ended questions. Quick thumbs up, thumbs down type of poll, imagery that they can click on. I think this would be great on maybe your social emotional side, maybe a quick check-in during the day, how they're feeling, things like that. You have surveys, your open-ended questions, and then you have your competition. We all know students love to get that little bit of competitive spirit. It's why Kahoot and Quizlet Live and some of our other activities are so widely used and accepted by the students. And this just gives that opportunity to create a series of questions and make it a little bit of a competition for them. So lots of different options here with our Poll Everywhere as well. So that was just a quick peek at a few of the many formative assessment tools that are available through our Web 2.0 tools. Hopefully that helped to give you a little bit of an idea of how you might be able to use some of these tools in your classroom. And hopefully you're just as excited as me to try some of these other tools out that maybe we haven't thought of using in the past.